Hello, and welcome to today's webcast, Mentor 2.0, Help Prepare a High School Student for College and Career Success, brought to you by Big Brothers, Big Sisters. My name is Steve Paul. I'm your moderator today. We have just a few announcements before we begin. This webcast is designed to be interactive between you and our presenter, and later in the program we'll ask for your feedback. This webcast also contains audience polling, so please complete the polls when they appear, and thanks for your participation. You can participate in our Q&A session by asking questions about the information presented in this webcast at any time. Just type your question into the Q&A text box located below the speaker bio on the left, and then click the Submit button. We'll answer as many questions as time permits after our presentation. Slides will advance automatically throughout the event, and you can download a PDF copy of our presentation by clicking in the resource box on the bottom left of our console. And at this time, we recommend you disable your pop-up blockers. If you're experiencing any technical problems, please visit our webcast help guide by clicking on the Help question mark icon on the bottom right of our console. And if slides are not advancing, please press the F5 key on your keyboard to refresh your browser. And now on to our presentation, Mentor 2.0, Help Prepare a High School Student for College and Career Success. Discussing today's topic will be Rich Greif, Vice President of Marketing, Communications, and Community Engagement with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Over to you, Rich.
Great, thanks, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar today on Mentor 2.0. I'm excited to talk to you about one of our newest programs from Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Besides my work here at Big Brothers Big Sisters, you probably can see from the picture, I've been a big brother myself a couple of times. In that picture there is my not-so-little brother, Tony, who's actually now 35 and has a family and career of his own, and it's definitely been one of the best experiences of my life. It was a great opportunity for me to use many of my skills, in particular to really learn about many of the challenges that he faced in his life and just how under-resourced many families, communities, and schools are, and the communities all around us. But really, from the mentoring side of it, just how important having a consistent, caring adult in his life was, to have somebody he could be with one-on-one, to talk to, share fun experiences, and really for me to understand just how much potential he had and the ability for him to grow and develop and the relationship we had together. So it definitely was one of the best experiences that I've had. A little bit about Big Brothers Big Sisters as an agency. We really focus on partnering with under-resourced families to provide their children with really transformational, professionally supported one-to-one mentoring relationships with caring adult mentors so that their children will thrive. We serve over 3,200 children throughout all of eastern Massachusetts, and about half of those are right in the city of Boston. Most people think of us as the agency that typically serves younger youth, and we do serve many youth between the ages of 7 to 12 years old. But while you might think of us mostly as focusing on younger students, we also now partner through this Mentor 2.0 program with 2 high schools in Boston, where a majority of the students will be their first in their family to attend college through the Mentor 2.0 program. Thought just before we get started and talk a little bit about the program, I'd ask real quickly if any of you have mentored a student before, either formally or informally during any of your time growing up or in your career. So if you could just take a minute and indicate whether you've mentored a student before, either formally or informally at some point in your life. And we'll just give that a few seconds. As Steve mentioned also, as we go through the presentation, certainly if you have any questions and things, please feel free to submit them, and we definitely will be happy to address them. All right, let's take a quick look at the results. Oh, great. So we've got a large percentage of people, 70% have mentored a student before. That's really great to hear. we as adults obviously have the opportunity, both in formal relationships or even informal mentoring relationships, to mentor students. So that's really great before. I'd like to ask one more question, whether or not you can recall growing up at some point in your life, whether you feel like you had a mentor in your life, someone that impacted you. Maybe it was a teacher or a coach, maybe it was a parent or a relative, someone that played a significant role in influencing you, coaching you, or guiding you at some point when you were a student growing up. All right, let's take a quick look at those results. Great. So about half of you feel like you had someone in your life when you were a student growing up. Obviously, it's really important that we all have someone growing up that we can turn to that can provide coaching and guidance and support and really just be there for us as a champion. So what I'd like to do today is talk a little bit about the Mentor 2.0 program, a little bit about the need that we're specifically addressing, and how you're well positioned to support a student here in the Boston area. We want to give you a real solid idea of the work we specifically do, what we ask of you as a mentor, and how we as an agency set you up, both you and your mentee, up for success. Actually, let me skip back real quick. So the Mentor 2.0 program, our focus is really on, actually I'm going to jump. The Mentor 2.0 program really focuses on building mentoring relationships that empower students from the Boston Public Schools to graduate high school, succeed in college, and achieve their ambitions. Big Brothers Big Sisters is one of 15 Big Brother Big Sister programs around the country that operate the Mentor 2.0 program, and collectively we're serving tens of thousands of low-income high school students across the country. As I mentioned, it's really important, especially at the high school age, that every student have a champion and we as mentors can help ignite their potential. As you may have seen from some of the introductory material on the webinar, right now a Boston Public Schools ninth grader has just a 12% chance of actually graduating from college one day. That's often a very startling statistic to many people and something we as an agency are really committed to change. What I thought I'd do is just show you a couple minutes of some brief clips of some of our current mentors and mentees talking about how they feel about the program.
The first time that Amaya and I met, it was an instant friendship connection, and it wasn't forced at all. It was really natural. And I think Big Brothers Big Sisters did a really great job connecting us two and matching our personalities, because we just matched so well, and I feel like I've known her forever. Yeah. So I really look forward to the Wednesday once a month come and see Amaya.
Yeah. My favorite moment is just when I see her. She just lights up my day. Like, seeing her makes me so happy. Yeah.
I feel the same way about Jessica.
Just her entrance makes me like happy.
I feel the same way about Jessica. So having her as my mentee has been one of the best things about my life since last fall. There are so many days when I have the most terrible work day or something crazy is happening in my personal life.
Okay, hopefully you've got a little sense of some of the mentors and mentees in our program. Why do we do this program? Well, a majority of the students that we serve in this program will be the first in their families to go to college. It's no secret that the process of graduating high school, applying to college, and transitioning to a career isn't easy. If you can think back to some of the challenges you might have faced during those years and how much easier that process might have been if you'd had someone to talk to who had been through that process before. For some of you, it might have been the conversations you'd had with your parents or an older sibling. But for the majority of our students that we're serving, they'll be the first person in their families to go to college, which means that they don't have someone in their family or immediate network to help them navigate this process. As a college student who's successfully transitioned to your career, you are well positioned to be that support for a student who's excited to learn more about college and beyond. And as you can imagine, why is college important for students today? It really affords them much greater and expanded professional opportunities and a lot of new experiences and perspectives in their world. So what does college ready really mean today? The research would say that there's a couple of distinct things that students need to be truly college ready and go on to succeed in college. The first, of course, is academic preparation. That's all the content knowledge and skill building they learn, like reading and writing, ultimately test taking and the SATs and things like that. So there are some important other things that are often a lot less obvious. One of them is something called non-cognitive skills, or often what's referred to as soft skills. Those are things like, can you advocate for yourself? Can you manage your own time? Can you introduce yourself to a room full of strangers? Do you know how to connect yourself to resources? And those skills are just as critical as academic preparation. And then the last thing that students need to be ready for college is really college knowledge. That's the understanding of financial aid, what that process is like, the college application process, the real nitty-gritty of what's transitioning to college life, and doing college-level work and what that really looks like. That's really the challenge that Mentor 2.0 students face. The academic preparation is something that is provided by our public school system, but the other stuff, the soft skills and the college knowledge, they don't have school resources devoted specifically to those areas. They're really individually acquired. Now, in well-resourced communities, students usually access college knowledge and non-cognitive skills from opportunities outside of schools. Many students may have tutors or after-school programs, or parents or relatives who have gone to college that can share their experiences. But for these first-generation college students, especially those in low-income or under-resourced communities, a majority of the students we work with, they don't have the same access to those extra supports and opportunities. So you might be thinking, what about counselors, within the schools? Isn't it their job to help students develop these skills and acquire that college knowledge? And of course it is, but in many schools which are themselves are under-resourced, there often is very limited access to college counselors. If I asked you to guess, I'm not sure what you would guess the number is, but in many of the high schools we work with, there could be, let's say in one of the high schools we work with 450 students, but the reality is for all of those students, there's just one college counselor for an entire school of 450 students. And that's just the average. Some schools are even larger, and that could mean as much as 500 or more students to one counselor. And so if you think about it, that's just often 20 minutes of time per student, maybe even at most twice a year. So now if you go back and think about all the things you'd have to cover in depth, about high school graduation and college enrollment, getting letters of recommendation, financial aid packages, what school you're going to, all of that, 40 minutes isn't really enough. And for a student to then go home and talk about it to their parents or their siblings, that might be enough, except for a student that doesn't have that someone in their life who's gone to college, it's really not enough for them and what they need. So with the Mentor 2.0 program and the fact that each student in the school can have a dedicated mentor and a curriculum that helps prep them for college and career readiness, we've seen really tremendous results from the Mentor 2.0 program. If you look at the impact on the students overall, both the high school graduation rate is significantly higher, the college enrollment rate is significantly higher, and the college graduation and persistence rate is more than double what the typical rate is in a high school public system like Boston. Not surprisingly, mentors themselves really feel like in this program they get a huge amount out of the program themselves. Some of the things that they tell us in terms of getting to know their mentee and how positive that's been, using their skills in a meaningful way, feeling a personal sense of growth and achievement has been really important, and 97% would recommend this program to a friend. We have two great Mentor 2.0 school partners in Boston. One of them is the Edward Kennedy Academy of Health Careers that's in the sort of Longwood, Mission Hill area, easily accessible by the Green Line on the MBTA, and Boston Green Academy in Brighton, which is also conveniently on the Green Line. Right now, we're 2 years into working with Boston Green Academy, so we have a 9th and 10th grade class that we're working with, and this was our first year at the Kennedy and are working with the 9th grade there. We're now enrolling for the fall, where we'll be in both the 9th and 10th grade at the Kennedy and the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade at Boston Green Academy. So, how does this whole program actually work? So there's a few elements to the Mentor 2.0 program. Students attend a weekly class session that's led by a Mentor 2.0 program coordinator. That's a Big Brothers Big Sisters staff person that is embedded within the Boston Public School that we are at. And they often co-teach that with a school teacher. And each week they are learning about a specific aspect of the Mentor 2.0 curriculum. They take that class once a week. At the end of their class, they go online. Mentor 2.0 has a very specific, secure, dedicated portal that you communicate with your student with. The student receives a bunch of questions and prompts for them to respond to, and then once they have done that, you as the mentor can go on and communicate with them and respond to some of their questions and see the same questions and prompts that they get, and you can respond to their answers and have a dialogue with them. In addition to that, in addition to communicating about the curriculum, there's also a separate conversations feature, and there's even a mobile app for that, so you can go online or on your phone anytime and have conversations with your mentee pretty much any time that you want. In addition to that, once a month there is a in-person event where students and mentors get together at the school. It's always at the same week, day, and time of the month. So one school might be Tuesdays at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8, and the entire 9th grade class will meet at that time with all of their mentors. The monthly events consist of a mix of one-on-one time that you'll spend with your mentee, as well as a number of group activities that relate to the curriculum for that particular month. Of course, there's always food, which is always a big draw for the mentees, but the mentees really love these events. They are highly attended by all the mentees. They really enjoy getting to see their mentors, and they also get to meet many of the mentors within the program. Each mentor-mentee pair is assigned to a Mentor 2.0 program coordinator who is directly providing that student and you as the mentor coaching and resources and support specifically related to your mentoring relationship with that mentee and with in relation to the curriculum. Because it's all done through this secure portal, we can monitor, our staff monitor many of the content that's on there. So our staff really get to know you as the mentor, and because they're embedded in the school, they really get to know the mentees, their personality, how they are, how they feel about the program, and can really give you dedicated and customized support in regard to your relationship. In terms of the support we provide, we really focus on trying to make the best possible match for you. Both mentors and mentees go into this portal and complete an application that includes listing your personal and professional interests. So we really work carefully to try and match you based on things that are related to either things that you might have studied that you're really interested in, maybe it's the type of work that you're doing now, as well as what the student is particularly interested in. We are continuously evaluating and updating the curriculum that we work on. We're always looking at the lessons that are part of the curriculum. It's been a nationally developed and studied curriculum, but we're always looking for ways to improve it. Obviously, I mentioned the dedicated staff support that we provide and the fact that the program coordinator is working with your mentee in class each week. And the great thing about this program is it really is attuned to your busy schedule. The commitment is really primarily online once a week to go on and communicate with your mentor and to attend the once a month in-person event. Who better, though, than to talk about how it sort of fits into their schedule than some of their mentors and mentees, so I'm going to show you a brief video on that as well.
All right, you go first. All right, I got it.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Hi. My name is Ryan. I work at a community health clinic. The hours are pretty hectic, and I'm also a part-time student, so this Mentor 2.0 program works great for me. We talk online every week, and then once a month we come in and we get to hang out for a couple hours, so that's why I really like it.
Sure. So I have a pretty standard 8:30 to 5, 6 job. So I think the aspect that it's once a month, meeting in person, works really well, and it's in the afternoons or at night. So I can get here very easily. I just take the green line from my work. And then also the aspect of this program being online is really nice because I have the opportunity, if I'm busy at work during lunchtime, to go and chat with Amaya on the Conversations app. Or if Cassie's sending an email, I can just look on that through the Legacy platform. So I love the aspect that it's online but also in person because we can still stay in contact even when I don't see her.
The schedule works for me because most of it's online, and we can meet about once a month. And I actually work right down the street at Beth Israel as an admin assistant. I get off right before this starts. So, yeah.
As a work more accessible because of.
Great, and those are some of our wonderful mentors and mentees. Before I go on to some of the requirements, one of the things I forgot to mention is overall, in terms of how the model works with each school, is that we really work with the whole school as part of the model. So every student starting in the 9th grade gets a mentor. So there's really no stigma, as you might imagine. High school students, why would they want a mentor? Well, when they enter the 9th grade at both of these schools, this just becomes part of their curriculum, and every student in the 9th grade gets matched with a mentor. The student is matched for all 4 years of the program. As you are matched with a mentor, you would follow your student, typically beginning in the 9th grade, but we stick with that student for all 4 years of the program, and you would follow your mentee, as they progress from grade to grade. So what are we looking for in a mentor? We require at least a associate's or 4-year degree as part of that. We do ask you for at least a 2-school-year commitment. Even though we're matching students for all 4 years, we realize that's hard for people to think about making a 4-year commitment to something, but we do ask if you can make at least a 2-school-year commitment to the program. As I mentioned, you're committing to the weekly online communication that happens, again, between October and May. You certainly are allowed to communicate with your student through the portal or through the Conversations application at any time throughout the year. And then to attend the once-a-month in-person event that happens between October to May. And as I mentioned, it's on a weeknight evening, usually the same week and time each week during that month. So before we match you, we will go through the schedule for the different schools that you're at. And so you'll know typically at least, if not the whole school year, the majority of the school year events so that you can really plan your time around that. We certainly recognize there may be an occasion where you might have to miss an event, and we often have a variety of makeup opportunities, and you can also go to the school anytime it's convenient with you to meet with your mentee. Lots of our mentors love to go over every once in a while and have lunch with their mentee and chat with them in person. So you can really go to the school and kind of supplement some of the in-person meetings that you have with your mentee. So how can you get started? We have an online application that you can start at bbbsmb.imentor.org. Once you start or finish that application, we'll follow up with you either way. We'll talk with you briefly on the phone just to make sure you can meet the minimum requirements of the program, and if you can, we'll schedule you right into an interview. We do, as you might imagine, at any mentoring program, background checks and reference checks. And then assuming you pass through all of that, you'll be prepared and be considered what we call ready to be matched. And then the matching process will start typically in September or October. We actually have to wait until the new class arrives into that school and have those mentees fill out their applications before we meet. So the students actually start receiving the curriculum right from the beginning of September when they enter school, and then the first match event and meeting and online communication start in October. So it really is October pretty much through May. And I think that was most of what I had today. Steve, why don't I turn it back over to you?
Great, very good presentation, very thorough, much appreciated. We're now going to go to our audience Q&A portion of our event, and all you need to do is just submit a question, type it in to the text field in the bottom left of the console, press the submit button, and we greatly appreciate that. I also have a brief feedback form survey that's open on your desktop. If you could complete that form and press the submit answer button at the bottom of the page, we'd thank you in advance for filling out that form as well. We've got a couple of questions, so let's start off. Dave wants to know here. Dave says, I travel a lot for work, and because I have a rather unpredictable schedule, how would you recommend I approach this, given that I cannot guarantee I'll be there for 100% of the Wednesday meetings? I will always have a month to meet, and I will always be there once a month to meet and be able to connect once a week online, but realize there's a chance I could miss a few meetings. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Dave. We have a lot of mentors that are busy people that travel. Before you would get matched, we would work out with you and also try and figure out which is the right school to be at. Because we're working with so many different grades now, it's not just Wednesday evenings. There could be a program on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. But we do look and see if you can at least make the majority of the matches and commit to that, and if not, be able to meet with your mentee outside of some of those meetings. So certainly people that travel that might have to miss a couple of the in-person events is not a problem and certainly shouldn't deter you from applying.
Okay, great, thanks. Denise wants to know which school would I be matched at? How does that work?
Yeah. So we look at a variety of things. I mean, each school does have a little bit of a specific focus. The Kennedy Academy focuses a little bit more on health careers, but certainly the students there are interested in learning about a variety of different types of professions. So we really get to know you specifically and then understand your interests and the interests of the students at the school and really work to make the best match for you. If it turns out you have a specific preference for a school because it might be closer to where you live or it's easier for you to get to, we certainly will make note of that and try and factor that into the matching. But first and foremost, we try and figure out what's the right mentee for you and then figure out where the right location might be. But we certainly factor in as a mentor what your schedule is, what might be the best schedule. Is there a specific night that you can definitely do? And so we try and balance out the needs of the mentors with trying to make something work from your schedule.
Okay, and we have time for maybe one more question here. Donald wants to know, could I meet with my mentee outside of school?
Yeah, it's often a question that we get initially because we want the program to stay very focused on the curriculum and building a relationship within the school environment. We ask that people keep the meetings to the in-person events, either that happen as part of the program that we run or to have your meetings with the student at the school. What we do after a couple years, though, is reevaluate where things are in terms of the relationship, and if things are working well, we may be open to considering calling your match or converting it to what we call a community-based match, where you can meet outside of school with that student. But for at least the first couple years, we ask that you may keep the communication within the portal or the mobile app and have your meetings just at the school itself.
Okay, thanks very much. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all the time we have. If we didn't get to your question during our live broadcast, someone will follow up with you over the next few business days. Also here, there's some information, contact information, and a link. I'll push this out to our audience as well, so you can go right to it. And unfortunately, that's all for today. So we want to thank you all for attending today's webcast. Mentor 2.0, Help Prepare a High School Student for College and Career Success, brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters. Shortly after this live event, we'll send you an email reminder so you can access this presentation on demand. And on behalf of our guest, Rich Greif, Vice President of Marketing, Communications, and Community Engagement for Big Brothers Big Sisters, we want to thank you for your time and have a great day.